The Reversal by Michael Connelly. The Reversal is a legal thriller novel written by Michael Connelly. The story centers around defense attorney Mickey Haller and his latest case, the retrial of Jason Jessup, a man who was convicted and sentenced to death for the murder of a young girl. Jessup has been on death row for 25 years, but new DNA evidence has come to light, and Haller agrees to take on his case and help prove his innocence. As Haller takes on the case of Jason Jessup, he is filled with a sense of determination and purpose. He knows that Jessup's life and death depend on his legal acumen and his ability to establish his innocence. But as he delves deeper into the case, he also feels a sense of weight and responsibility on his shoulders. The pressure of the case is intense, and it takes a toll on him. He begins to feel the weight of the world on him as he realizes the gravity of the situation and the life and death stakes of the case. As Haller delves deeper into the case, he finds that there are many inconsistencies and flaws in the original investigation and trial, and he becomes convinced that Jessup is innocent. He works closely with his team of investigators and legal experts to uncover the truth and build a new defense for Jessup. Mickey Haller soon realizes that the investigation and trial that led to Jason Jessup's conviction and death sentence were not as solid as they seemed. The initial investigation was rushed, and important evidence was overlooked or ignored. Haller starts to uncover leads that were never followed up on by the police, which could have pointed to other suspects in the crime. The more Haller delves into the case, the more he realizes that Jessup's conviction was based on unreliable and circumstantial evidence. The prosecution's key witness, a convicted felon, had given inconsistent statements and was coerced into testifying against Jessup. This realization made Haller question the credibility of the prosecution's case, and he becomes more and more convinced that Jessup is innocent. As Haller continues his investigation, he also discovers that the defense attorney at the original trial had not done a thorough job of investigating and presenting evidence in Jessup's defense. Haller finds that the defense attorney had not interviewed several potential alibi witnesses who could have provided an alibi for Jessup during the time of the murder. The judge had also been biased and had allowed the prosecution to present evidence that should have been inadmissible. Haller finds that the judge had allowed the prosecution to introduce evidence that Jessup had a previous criminal record, which had prejudiced the jury against him. This discovery made Haller realize that the justice system had failed Jessup and that the only way to prove his innocence was by bringing the truth to light. With each discovery, Haller feels the tension of the case rising. He knows that this is his chance to prove Jessup's innocence and bring justice to a man who has been wrongfully convicted. But as he starts building a new defense, he also knows that he will have to face a powerful and determined prosecutor, a hostile and skeptical judge, and a hostile media. The stakes are high, and the clock is ticking. The tension and suspense in the story keep the reader on the edge of their seat as Haller fights to clear Jessup's name and prove his innocence. The climax of the reversal comes when the retrial of Jason Jessup begins. Haller, armed with new evidence and a solid defense, goes up against the prosecution, determined to prove Jessup's innocence. The trial is intense and grueling, with both sides presenting their evidence and arguing their cases. As the trial progresses, Haller's evidence and arguments begin to chip away at the prosecution's case. He is able to prove that Jessup's initial conviction was based on unreliable and circumstantial evidence, and that the police and prosecution had overlooked important leads and evidence. He also manages to prove that Jessup had an alibi during the time of the murder and that the prosecution's key witness had been coerced into testifying against him. The tension in the courtroom reaches a boiling point as the prosecution and defense make their closing arguments. The jury begins to deliberate, and the wait for a verdict is nerve-wracking. Finally, the verdict is read out. Jessup is found not guilty, and the courtroom erupts in cheers and tears of joy. Jessup is finally cleared of the crime and set free after spending 25 years in prison. Haller has managed to prove his innocence and bring justice to a man who had been wrongfully convicted. Jessup's story ends with Jessup being reunited with his family and friends, and Haller reflecting on the power of the legal system and the importance of fighting for the innocent. The end of the story is satisfying, and it highlights the importance of the legal system and the role of lawyers in the quest for justice. As Jessup walks out of the courtroom a free man, Haller is overcome with a sense of accomplishment. He knows that he has done the right thing and that he has helped to bring a wronged man back to freedom. But he also knows that the journey was not easy and that it required him to put everything on the line. He reflects on the sacrifices he made, the risks he took and the battles he fought to bring the truth to light. Haller also reflects on the impact of the case on his own life. He realizes that the case has changed him and that it has made him a better person. He has learned the true meaning of justice and the importance of standing up for the innocent. He also knows that he has made a difference in someone's life and that he has helped to restore a man's faith in the legal system. As the story comes to a close, Haller looks forward to his next case, knowing that he will continue to fight for justice and defend the innocent. He also looks forward to spending some time with his family and friends, taking a break from the intense and grueling world of law. Overall, The Reversal is a gripping legal thriller that keeps the reader on the edge of their seat throughout the story. The story is known for its legal complexities, its well-developed characters and its exploration of themes such as justice, corruption, and the power of the legal system. The story is also set in Los Angeles. The attention to detail of the city's locations makes the setting feel realistic and adds to the atmosphere of the novel. The end of the story is satisfying, and it highlights the importance of the legal system and the role of lawyers in the quest for justice. Evaluation and review. The Reversal by Michael Connelly is a legal thriller that excels in several key areas. In terms of suspense and tension levels, the story is highly effective. Connelly masterfully builds tension throughout the novel, keeping readers on the edge of their seats as the retrial of Jason Jessup progresses. For example, the way Connelly describes the jury's deliberation and the wait for the verdict, it's a very suspenseful aspect of the book. The characters in the story are also highly compelling. The main character, Mickey Haller, is well developed and his relationship with the case and the client is complex and intriguing. The way Connelly explores the dynamics of Haller's role as a defense attorney and how it changes throughout the story, it's truly captivating. For example, the way Haller's personal beliefs and values evolve as he delves deeper into the case, it's really intriguing and adds depth to the story. The story is also known for its attention to detail, both in terms of the legal process and in the way it describes the locations and settings. This adds a sense of realism to the story and helps to immerse readers in the story. For example, the way Connelly describes the courtrooms and the legal procedures followed in them, it's very realistic and detailed. The story also explores psychological themes, such as the impact of wrongful conviction on the individual and the society. This adds depth and complexity to the story and makes it more relatable to readers. For example, the way the story examines the psychological impact of Jason Jessup's 25 years in prison and how it shapes his life and the life of his family and friends, it's a thought-provoking aspect of the book. Finally, the story also includes elements of social commentary. Connelly's writing often reflects on issues such as the justice system, corruption, and the role of lawyers in society. For example, the way Connelly explores the impact of the legal system on the characters and how it shapes their lives, it's a thought-provoking aspect of the book. Overall, I would rate The Reversal as an excellent legal thriller. Its combination of suspenseful storytelling, compelling characters, attention to detail, realistic setting, psychological themes, and social commentary make it a must-read for fans of the genre. The way Connelly weaves a complex and intriguing story that keeps the readers guessing until the end, and the way he develops the characters and their relationships, is truly impressive. The novel is highly rated because it explores the darker side of the legal system and the impact of wrongful conviction, and it is a thrilling and complex read.